Dr. Roger Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions, and this is Ask the Doctor. The question was, I have constant dry eye and nothing helps. Does Doc have any suggestions? And how? Excellent question. What causes dry eye? Well, in that case, we need to really ask what causes wet eye. That's a good question. So wet eye happens because cranial nerve number 7, which is in your brainstem, cranial nerve number 7 puts out its autonomic component, causes you to wet your sinuses, your nose, and your mouth. Now we sinuses, your eye, your nose, and your mouth. That's part of the sinuses. And so the wetness is determined by how much activity is possible neurologically within the neuronal pool that causes that to happen. And so we have to think cranial nerve 7. We need to be working on cranial nerve number 7 to make that happen. And there are several different ways to do that. Now, when you have dry eye, is it both eyes? Is it one eye? If it's both eyes, is it one more than the other? That's what I would want to be asking, and that's what I do as a clinician. I'm trying to find out, and I don't treat dry eye by itself. I treat an entire condition. Dry eye is often a part of that process, a part of the problem. So, but in the brainstem itself, cranial nerve 7, if we look at the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla, cranial nerve number 7 is a part of a chain. Cranial nerve number 5, cranial nerve number 7, cranial nerve number 9, and cranial nerve number 10. They're all a chain. We call it a homologous chain. They were all born together, right? And they're a part of what we call the mouthing chain. We got this chain through breastfeeding when we were tiny babies. When we were pulling the milk in, that was creating some of the muscles and that were making that happen. And it was causing us to move muscles that actually moved our teeth and that, and it was also causing the movement of muscles of our face, and that's 7. This is 5, 7, 9, 10. Okay? 7 also has an effect on the autonomic, the parasympathetic nervous system. It's all a part of that chain. Then we need to swallow 9 with some 10, and then 10 is I need to digest, and all of these things were things that we had to learn. And they're basic. Remember I said that the stuff on the top governs what's below it. The stuff that's on the outside governs what's on the inside. This stuff is really, really close on the inside. Very important. You don't digest, you got a problem. You don't sleep, you got a problem. Your heart doesn't get operated, your lungs don't get operated, you got a problem. These are really basic. Okay? So 7, we have to look at 7 and say, what could we do to impact 7? Well, we could work with 7, but we're not going to do that right away. We're going to figure out what side is the worst. And we're going to work with that. We can use different things to affect that. Now remember too that we talk about the right side of the brain dealing with the left side of the body, left side dealing with the right side of the body. That's actually less than 10% accurate. That's in the voluntary system. This stuff is involuntary. It runs us. And in that case, so if I have a cranial nerve 7 on the right, I also have a frontal lobe that's got a problem because it's supposed to feed down and make sure it keeps that up to be able to do whatever it's being asked to do. So I'm going to look at possibly smelling on that side to turn on that frontal lobe and the blood flow relating to it. See if that can increase the activity, the output in these areas. If I have cranial nerve number 5, I can work with 5. 5 feeds down to 7. Also, 9 and 10 feed up to 7. So I can use 5. What do I like for 5? Bite on your finger on that side just lightly, and then keep doing it for a while. That is the muscles of mastication, cranial nerve 5. Also, you can take one of those little snot suckers and blow air in the eye, and when you do that, you're causing the activation of 5, the feeling part, trigeminal, and 7, the blink part, the motor part of it, I'm going to be activating. If I come down here to 9 and 10, I could do some swallowing. Also, I could vibrate on that same side, and it will feed up. So what do we do for 7 itself? For 7 itself, I can do taste. I can taste on that side. When you look at the tongue, so let's say it's on the right side. 7, 9, 10. Okay? And so in this case, I'm going to put some peppermint on the tongue. Okay? Put some peppermint on the tongue to activate that cranial nerve 7 from a taste point of view. Also, we already talked about blowing air in the eye there. That can help. Also, I can tap. I usually use a reflex hammer, but you don't have to. I can tap here and see if I can get a reflex, a cranial nerve number 7 activity, and see if that affects the dryness of the eye. Then the other thing is, if I want to get the pons here in the back, I can actually rub the face. Usually it's going to feel more on one side, better, more soothing on one side than the other. And that's going to get into the back of the pons and see if that helps give enough juice to help that to make more wetness in the eye. Now that's a lot of stuff, and we're just talking about throwing up things that can be done, but that's only for dry eye now. I don't want to treat dry eye. I want to treat the why of dry eye. Why are we having a problem with this neuronal pool in keeping it the way it should be, in order so that I get the wetness that I need. Okay, and that's what we do here. So I hope that answered some questions relating to it. And if you have any more questions, please go ahead and submit them, and I'll get to the making videos on it. And remember, we're here when you're ready to take your life back.